Okay, welcome back to my ship opinion videos. Today we're going to be going over the Tier 4 long-range science vessels, I think what they are. We've got the Intrepid, Cochrane, Discovery is the free ones, then the Bellerophon is the purchasable one at this level. There's the Discovery and the Cochrane. And then at a higher level you can actually get to the Pathfinder. So, I'm going to start off with the Intrepid. The title ship on Star Trek Voyager was an Intrepid. One noticeable feature on this class is right along this point right here, the nacelles pivot for, I think it's called variable geometry warp nacelles. They're supposed to be more like eco-friendly, it doesn't damage subspace. But another noticeable feature on this is right here is another deflector, which actually in real world relevance was because it was a mounting point for the studio model, along with I think right here and probably another couple places, but that's just something I personally recently learned. But anyway, let's see, you got the bridge up top, and I'm trying to remember, I want to say ready room's right here and the conference room's here. I'm trying to remember, because if you're facing this way and she goes off, and the ready room's on the right. No, I think the ready room's on the right if she's facing front, so it'd be right here. Then that must be the conference room. Of course, you got the phasers, and I don't know what this is. I'm guessing it's sensors. That's what I've always assumed. RCS, big old deflector dish, a couple torpedo launchers. One thing that was never seen used in the show is the aerial shuttle. I need to turn those off. I don't want any fly-ins while I'm doing this. I can't turn them off. Okay. But it was never seen in the show. They wound up building the Delta Flyer instead. Supposedly it has ship separation, but again, that was never seen, and it's just one of those things that's speculated. Probably would have separated along this plane right here, would be my guess. Maybe pulling off right here. I don't know. Again, you've got, let's see if I can angle this. There we go. Phasers right there, down there, under the shuttle bay, and on each part of the pylons, and then one right there and there. So it looks like good all-around coverage, except if somebody's like hiding right here. But, which a lot of ships do seem to have gaps in their phaser, but you can't have everything. Because I think one right there would, or like right here would fix that, but no, that's pretty good all-around coverage. Got a couple more torpedo launchers. Apparently one way on the show you can tell if it's a studio model or CG is, this is, I think that's not lit on the studio model, but there's a difference there. The cells are kind of short considering, but they're compared to, like, say, the Sovereign class, but I don't know, I like them. They fit the overall design aesthetic. The impulse engines are different because they're mounted on the nacelle, right next to the nacelles there. Of course, you got the shuttle bay and what looks like an airlock right next to it, which would be kind of interesting, but I guess if you're landing on a planet, you can pull the shuttles out and work on them outside, which the Intrepid-Class can do. It can land on a planet. I think the landing struts, it doesn't look like the, unless I'm just remembering where they are wrong, it doesn't look like the points for the landing struts are textured onto this or modeled onto it. Okay. Next up, we'll go to the Discovery. Reset the view here. One of the immediate things looking at this view you'll notice is the fins, which I kind of like, but I don't at the same time. I don't like them when they're resting. They look nice when they're up, but when they're resting, they don't. Again, you got the Wave Rider. The deflector's oval, but if you look at it like from this angle, it looks round. Torpedo launchers again. The weapons coverage on this actually seems more lacking than the Intrepid. It looks like it'd be easier to hide like right here or something. And then, of course, you got your torpedo launchers there, your shuttle bay. The bridge, I'm guessing, is right here, which is interesting because that would put the bridge lower than its surroundings. I mean, I know on like the Akira there's bulky parts right here, but it's still on top of its immediate structure. So that would be interesting. Let's see. Nacelles, I don't know if I like this like layered design here. But other than that, oh, there's a phaser right there. I missed that one. Then there's one right here, which seems like it wouldn't really do much to catch anything unless it's because the fins are in the way. Let's see. Again, you got the secondary deflector. Moving on to the Cochrane, it's a little more rugged. This would be like, I'd imagine, the workhorse. The nacelles are underslung from the pylons, which kind of gives it a sled look, in my opinion, which kind of contributes to the workhorse. It reminds me of the runabout, honestly. Looks like if it lands, it sits on the nacelles. Of course, you got the impulse right here, along with two big ones on that. The bridge, I'm guessing, is right here. It's the highest point, and that's where most Federation ships tend to have them. One thing I find interesting is like the cutouts right here. You don't really see much. It's like unused space. You know, you could have put a bulkhead there and maybe gotten a few more rooms. Torpedo launchers, pivots along that point, which actually between the Intrepid and the Discovery, it puts the pivot points the closest to the nacelles. Of course, you got the shuttle bay. Phasers on this one, in my opinion, so assuming those are strips right there, this one, yeah, because there's a couple right there. So this one looks like it has the best overall coverage, in my opinion. And of course, if you saw my one with like I don't remember which ship. I want to say it's like Tier 3 science. It was like the Olympic, the Hope, and all that. And those had terrible coverage. Moving on to the purchasable one at this rank, the Bellerophon. I like how they put the fins on the outside this time, and it just looks sleeker. It's more reminiscent of, I think, the what would they call it on this? It was the first battle cruiser the game had, but again, it looks like it pivots right here, but unless it's like at rest right now, that would be weird. So I'd imagine these are actually up and in warp mode. Big shuttle bay right there. Torpedo launchers, impulse, they kind of look like they're partly textured onto there. Like they didn't put the full, they forgot to cut part of it out for the impulse drive. As far as weapons, let's see here. Strip right there, right there, right there, right there. A couple right there, one right there. Looks like right here. I don't see any, I think it's dorsal? I can never remember dorsal versus ventral. I don't see at the top any phaser arrays on the top. Like, so this basically leaves like right here. Granted, it's a very thin slope, but it leaves right there fairly unprotected except for the torpedo launchers. Overall, I actually like this design. The cutout and the deflector is kind of interesting. Kind of gives it a moon shape. I wonder what the purpose of that is. Escape pods. Secondary deflector. I just love the lighting. Inside Space Dock, go figure, there's a light source like about where your face probably would be based on how these are reflecting. And finally, let's reset it real quick. You get the Pathfinder, which from what if I'm understanding the game's lore correctly, was the design that led up to the Intrepid. It was like the prototype for the Intrepid, but that doesn't really make much sense to me. The secondary deflector's got a really long cutout right here, and it's got that same kind of cutout or deflector as the Bellerophon had. If you look, got that right part right there. Go back down to the Pathfinder. What I find weird is if these angle up. I haven't actually played on this ship. I've played on the other three. If these angle up whenever it goes into warp, it gets rid of the smooth curve, which I think would be weird. Got a big, what is that? Is that a shuttle bay? No, I wonder what that's supposed to be. Like what the purpose of it is. Looks like the part the aero shuttle is built into can detach itself too. Let's see here. Bridge is probably right there. Phasers. Coverage looks pretty good to me on the top because you got right there, there, right there and there on the top. Where's the aft torpedoes? And the aft torpedo launchers couldn't really hit too far out, but they're guided, so that's not an issue. And for the bottom, looks like there. Looks like the phaser coverage on this one's pretty good too. Honestly, I'd probably count this one among the best of the 5 on phaser coverage, because looks like almost anything can be hit, depending on just like how tight they can aim down. Oh, there's something I didn't notice. This is detached from the hull. It's just, I don't understand parts like that. Like, it's a covering, I guess. Wide shuttle bay there, but depending on how tight down the phasers can hit, this one probably has the best coverage. But anyway, that's my look at the Tier 4 science ships, plus the, I want to say it's like a Tier 6 ship, since I can. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to vote for the Tier 5, and I'll see you next time. To keep voting consistent at the Tier 5 level as with the other tiers, I'm breaking up the 6 sets of ships into 2 sets this time. For this first set, we have the Star Cruisers, the Advanced Escorts, and the Reconnaissance Science Vessels. As always, follow the link in the description if you want to vote, and have a great day.